Welcome back, everybody, to the Tamiya Nissan build. We are starting step 11. We finished up adding step 10 last time, adding the carpeting and all the whopping parts, gluing them together, and then the little brace bar in the back. So we are now starting on the center console, the handbrake, all the shifter. So we're working on all the different steps now on the interior. So we're going to start with step 11, where we're going to add and build the center console. And then in this same video, I'm also going to add step 12 and step 13, as it's so few parts that goes into these 3 steps that we can include it in one video, especially when the majority of the parts that we're going to need to be painted LP5, which is semi-gloss black. So even if, like here, it says X18, well, that's Tamiya's acrylic number for semi-gloss black. So we're just going to use, again, LP5. So the little trim, the color trim here, it says in both the cars, whether you do it blue or yellow or red, that the interior trim pieces are like the body color, which it says for the yellow car to do red, but I'm going to do it yellow, just to bring some more color into the dashboard. And when it comes back to the seats, I'm going to do where it says to do red or blue, I'm going to add yellow to it as well. So everything, almost everything on here is LP5, which is semi-gloss black. And I mean, from down here in the pedals, which you'll never see anyway, but the pedals are that color. Everything's that color except for this trim and these areas on the dash, which are LP19, which is gunmetal. So we've got that ready. And then for the yellow parts, I'm going to mix a little bit of flat yellow. A little bit of pure yellow, LP8, with just a hint of flat white to fade this a little bit. I don't want it so yellow, but I do want it to pop. So I'm going to mix it with a little flat white just to knock down the gloss. Since it's interior parts, there's not a really glossy factor to it. If it gets too flat, I'll put a semi-gloss coat of acrylic on it just to bring back a little bit of the gloss. So we are going to start with all of our pieces, and we'll just cut them all out and get them on sticks and get going on painting. So we're going to grab the B sprue, and we are going to start grabbing all these. So we're going to have a lot of LP5 to paint, as far as lots of black, semi-gloss black. Make all these, trim them all up. It says here of a special note to pay attention to. Right here on B26, the part that I just cut out, if you flip it over, there's like a little riser right here. I'll try to zoom in and show you. There's like a little riser right here that it says to remove that. It's just part of the sprue. When you cut it off here, it leaves a little residual here. So we're just gonna clean that up like it says to do, because if you don't, it's probably not gonna fit that well. It's probably gonna ride up or something. It's gonna sit flush. It's about time I change the blades out on these. I keep saying that and I keep not doing it. So the next part that we're going to need is the center console itself, which is B23. right. And then, what do we got? We have the handbrake and the stick shift, B34 and B35, which are both neighbors on the sprue. I've collected some pictures of the interior of this car, so I'm going to refer to those as I paint, just to make sure everything's, because it's saying to make everything semi-gloss black, but I don't know if there's any options, or, you know, is there a chrome stick shift available? This little ball on top. Is it just kind of a black leather, or is it metal? Or so I'm gonna just make sure I've got everything I want. All right, technical difficulties. So now I'm back. We got the first 4 parts of, well, we got all the parts for step 11 cut out. And seeing that the majority of this whole step is, gosh, I gotta get a better chair, is LP5 semi-gloss black, I'm just gonna cut out everything that we need. So I put an X through here because that's right-hand drive, and we're not doing right-hand drive, we're doing left-hand drive. So we need part number B30. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to attack this piece, because part of it, the majority of it is semi-gloss black, but this little trim ring, around the instrument panel and these 2 little areas right in here are LP19, which is a gunmetal. So if you see here in the directions, it's a thin ring all the way around. So I'm trying to figure out, do I paint it all gunmetal and come back in and try to hand paint the black areas? Which I think that's going to be the easier part. Or or do I try to mask everything? And that's, I don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll paint everything the gunmetal, and then I'll come back in and try to hand brush the semi-gloss black in there. Because masking that would be a nightmare. It would just take so long. So we'll set that one on the side for the gunmetal. So the next part we need, got that part. Next part is the dash, B32 and B29. Again, it gives us 2 options, so we're grabbing the left-hand side drive. Most of this step is literally just cutting and smoothing for one big semi-gloss paint job. Nice and smooth. Little buggers down here, which I know you won't see them, but let's get them anyway. All right, and what I say, B29. Who is it? Doogs Models on YouTube. He has this compressor noise and always says, "Shut up, compressor." Gosh, I need to say "shut up, chair" every time I move. I like his channel. It's a great channel. All right, B29, B32. It doesn't say what color to paint B28. Oh, yeah, it does, up here. So B28 is, okay, that's a different black. That's LP1, I'll have to go get it, which is a gloss black. So that whole unit will be painted gloss black, and then that decal will take up most of that space. So we'll grab that while we're at it. I might even do the knobs instead of gloss black. I might do those semi-gloss black just so when you're looking, well, if you can see it once it's in the interior. Looking in the interior is kind of tough to see small details that you spend so much time wanting to do. So we'll give that its own little area. Next up is the instrument. No, we already cut that. That's there. So we have these three B37, which are all these three little domes for the dash, which most likely, since they're the same color as the dash, I'm going to glue those into the dash. Gosh, you can't even see. I'm going to glue those into the dash before I paint. And the same with down here. I'm going to glue that in as well, as long as it can be glued in before this. I'll have to test fit and make sure, because that's a different color and I'll mess everything up. So let's grab B27 and B37. And B27. Gosh, creaky chair. All right, that one's done. Boy, some of these parts are really tiny. Doesn't help when you have fat fingers. There's that. Now our gas pedals and brake pedals and clutch. So B15 and B16. So whichever you're choosing, left or right, it's still the same number. So B15 and B16. All right, so everything that has to be painted LP5 semi-gloss black is cut out, trimmed out, and ready. So I can glue this in right now, and I don't have to worry about it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense now. There's a little notch or a little piece sticking out here, rectangle, and that goes into that rectangle hole down in there. And once you have that in there, it just lines right up. And then that'll create the shelf for this piece to slide in there too. So I guess what I need to do is see, it should be okay to glue that before I paint it. So I'm going to glue that in there so it's all painted as one piece. I'll just take a little bit of glue and run it along the edge so it holds it all intact. And there we go. So that's ready for paint. Now, I said I was going to paint this gunmetal first and then come back in and touch the... I can't glue it anyway because that's a different color. Okay, so plans are still. All right, we're going to paint this gloss black. We're going to paint this gunmetal. We're going to paint pretty much everything else LP5, semi-gloss black. And then we're going to paint A20, that yellow, which A20 is right here. Ooh, keep dropping things. It's a night for dropsies. So this piece will go basically right in here and will be a nice yellow contrasting against all that black. And then this goes in here. And our touchscreen stereo will go right in here. And of course, everything fits like you don't even need glue. So I am going to get all of these ready and I'm going to go paint them. So I will be back in just a minute. All right. I have everything on little sticks ready to be painted. All my LP5s, all my gunmetals, all my cool yellow color that I'm going to mix. So now I am going to thin some paints for painting. My LP5, my gunmetal, and my cool yellow. I didn't do that one. So we need one more stick. There we go. One more stick. And we're going to squeeze it right in that hole. LP5. All right. So we're going to start with LP5. I'm shooting at 30 PSI. And I like to mix my paints at 50-50. So I'm using, again, Tamiya LP5 semi-gloss black. And I'm going to grab one of those, which then I am using my favorite, Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. Like Frank's hot sauce, I put this stuff on everything. All right. So that we will now mix up. Pull it up into the syringe so I can capture any of the paint that went up there. And that's how I thin my paints. In case you're checking this video series out for the first time, I am going to go paint the LP black. Be right back. All right. Well, back from the paint booth before we paint the yellow. We got our gunmetal painted, which now I'll go in and I will do the hand brushing of the semi-gloss black. We have the gloss black radio screen and LED screen area. Parts for the dashboard and the center console. Gas pedals, brake pedals, clutch pedals. 3 little things for the gauges on the dash. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We have the emergency brake, which I'm going to touch the tip with just a little bit of gloss red before I put it on. We have our dash. You gotta love Tamiya paints. They go on so smooth. So smooth. And then I have the center console. It's ready. Which that one's dry because I painted that first. And then we have the stick shift. So all these pieces are ready for gluing, but we're gonna go paint and mix the paint for this first, which I've got to be cautious of what I mix because I have to use it also in another area. So again, I'm using pure yellow with a hint of white, flat white. So I'm going to grab my little communion cup. I buy these off of Amazon. think I bought like 1,000 for just a crazy cheap price. And they're great for mixing paints. So we're gonna go with our full thing of yellow. Full thing of yellow. And we'll go with, we will try just like maybe a drop of white. And then by using a sprue, I can use about what color it is. I think I'm going to go with one more drop of white, maybe two. 1, 2. All right. Now I'm going to rinse that out and use that to stir. Yep, I'm liking that color. I know it's hard to see on camera, but it is definitely a little more creamier than. So let me go shoot this and I'll be right back. All right, we are back with everything painted and everything ready for assembly, except for the little piece of red on the handbrake I need to do. But there's also a matter of, excuse me, decals. So, and also I still have to paint the flat black in there. So I think that's what we're going to do first, is paint the flat black in there and get that ready. So we will grab us some LP5, which is semi-gloss black. And we will put on my bigger eyes that give me a whole lot of more vision at my advanced age, so I can see what I'm doing and I don't embarrass myself. All right, we're just gonna grab some paint here. And it says all the insides are semi-gloss black. Put the trim around the dash stays the gunmetal color, so we're just gonna so far so good. So far I'm not regretting not masking it. And that LED screen goes inside there, so, and the decal goes inside there. So what I think I'm gonna do, just in case that decal doesn't fit totally, I think I'm just gonna go right around and give myself a black border, so it's not a gunmetal border. And I'm gonna catch right in there. And I know it looks sloppy right now, but it's gonna dry with no brush strokes. So that is ready for a decal and for assembly. Before I actually glue it to everything, I'll probably give it a little panel line wash just so it seeps into all the areas that I may have missed. But for all intensive purposes, it is ready for decals now. So we will get some water poured and some decals cut. And I will go grab that red paint that I need for that handbrake. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and added the little red button on the end of the emergency brake. So that will dry. And I'm getting ready to do some decals. So the first decals it says to do, first of all, I'll get my little palette ready. Get some water in these two holes. And the first decals that we need, besides that one, we're not going to do that one yet. We're going to do these three, decals 48, 46, and 45 that go on the dash itself. So right here, these little notches here, we'll get them. So 48, 46, and 45, which are right here, 45, 46, 47, 48. So let's cut these out. And while these are getting ready, for their role in this model. While that one is getting ready, I'm going to cut out decal 44 that we need, which is right here. So there's 44. Might as well cut out our display screen, 43, that we're going to need for part B28. What other decals did we need? I believe that's it. Nope. We got over here, we got 30 and 29, which I guess are speakers. So we got our speakers. And I think that's it. Yes, that is it for this step for decals. So slide them back in their bag, protect them. We will grab 48 out. I do like how the yellow came out as I knock it off there. The yellow came out really good. It's going to look really sharp sitting on that dash. Maybe if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. All right, so dashboard 48 was the first one we need. We're going to use a little bit of our Walther Solvaset, which helps conform things and make them fit a little bit better. Put a drop in there. So that one is in. And the next one says 46. We'll get out our LED screen and our dash gauges. Start those soaking. All those are kind of just hanging there. We got our gauges in there. Once those dry a little bit, we can put our the little hoods, these little things here that go over them. Actually, while some of that's gluing, we can actually do the pedals. We can grab B16 and B15, and we can actually put them in our interior tub. So I'm going to do B16. So I'm basically going to put a little bit of glue right there. I'm going to grab this gas pedal. It's got a little notch, and that fits the hole in the back of that gas pedal. I say it does. These tweezers don't want to behave. There we go. Now what's crazy is this is a part I know you won't see, but we still, like I said, we know it's there. So we'll grab the brake and the clutch pedal, and that goes on a little shelf up here. So we'll grab that. And just like that, we have our brake pedal, our clutch, and our gas pedal. All right, so we'll set that off to the side. And we'll get back to some decals because they are sure they're ready. So we'll take them out. It was a little crooked. And I know if it's crooked, I'll see it every time I look at it. There we go. Now I am going to, like I said, I am going to come back and just touch those knobs with a semi-gloss black. So that way I can, because they're hard to see right now. Real soft pressure, trying to get all that fluid out from underneath there. Not pushing too hard because I don't want it to shift and move on me. All right. There is our LED screen. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Well, I'll leave it in there. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to grab my LP5 and just take a real small paintbrush and just a dollop of paint. Put on my magic eyes so I can see. Non-glossy look. So that way it'll help you see the buttons a little bit better, I think. So we'll set that part off, let it dry with the decal and with the paint, and we'll get back to our last, I think it's our last three decals, the speakers and the main. So that means we need this piece now. A little Q-tip. There we go. Now, what I want to do, just to make sure it sits down in all those corners, take a little bit of Solvaset and just float it in there. And that'll help kind of suck it down to the dash. But for all intents and purposes, there is our instrument, our gauge cluster. So it's ready. So now we can go back to the beginning of our directions. Oh, wait. Gosh, I'm jumping ahead. I forgot our speakers. Can't have any sound without our speakers. So while that's getting a little wet, I'm going to come in here and just drop a little bit of glue. That's almost too much. And then we're going to grab one of our little hood parts here. And we're going to push it into place. Just like that. The reason I didn't glue those in like I said I was going to was it would be really hard to get the decal in there. So Nice, nice, nice. So let's put some speakers on. Okay, so these are really kind of shiny, so I'm hoping they'll dull down a little bit once they dry. But if they don't, I'm going to come in and I'm going to brush on a little flat clear because I don't want them shiny. Definitely don't want them shiny. Okay, so that is the last of the decals. So we'll put that off to the side to let it dry, and we'll grab our center console and we'll start assembling our stick shift. And we'll grab our handbrake. It doesn't want to let go. There we go. So we'll grab our handbrake. I'll put a little bit too much glue in there. So I do believe I'll have to come back and touch that up a little bit. And then we have this piece here that goes right like that. So I am going to be very careful gluing that on. I'm going to run a bead right in here, and right on the outside, and right on the outside of that. And we're going to slap that puppy down. See what I mean? I mentioned that in another video. How come when you test fit it, it fits perfect, but then when you put glue on it and go to set it down, it wants to move. All right. So that part is done. A little bit of touch up down there, but nothing major. And then that will go, it says to glue it down into the chassis here. So it says to glue all along that edge and that knob back there. So we're going to just let it seep all the way around. Golly, it seeped all the way around. So we're going to grab you. We're going to grab you. And we're going to put you right there. And put you right there. And there we go. We got the center console in. It doesn't look too bad. All right, so now let's finish up our dashboard. Let's put in what it calls for. We've already done this, decals glued up, those decals. We need to put this hood on, but I'm going to put the hood on after I put this in because I don't want it to interfere with anything. All right, that is in. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to seal it in on the back side so we don't risk too much glue going around on the inside where it can be seen. So we have that in place. Now it calls for our LED screen to go in. So we just have to locate. And that has a little ledge that clicks right in that back little shelf. That little line right there. Get a little glue on there. Wow, looks pretty darn good. Pretty happy, pretty happy. This little piece here, part B29, will go right down in here. So we just have to glue a little in here. we've already done these three. We've already done that previously, so that way we could paint it all as one. So now our splash of color goes on. Here's hoping A20 goes on and looks good. I really like that yellow. I think that looks really cool. And with that being done, we are ready to wrap up this step. So we got the center console in, step number 11, and then we did step 12, building the dash, and we did step 13, where we put all the pedals in. So we are now on to next time installing everything, which I wish I would have saw these because I could have painted those tonight too, but we'll paint them next time. That's just little splashes of yellow for the side console here. So I look forward to seeing you guys next episode. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching and following me on this journey. If you'd like to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Always appreciate a like button if it didn't bore you too much. Hope you have a great night. Appreciate you guys.